How do we increase black male enrollment on our college campus? I believe one of the major things that we need to do is that we have to approach this first from a perspective of we have to know where the students are that we want. I believe as a part of your strategy, my rule of thumb is if a school district is located within 10 minutes of me, I believe those are my students. I believe in aggressive philosophies in recruiting students. It's very important for universities to understand that our students are our customers. Student enrollment is the lifeline and lifeblood of a college or institution. A lot of times we don't have those paradigms and philosophies. If you can look at what's happening in the K 12 arena of education, you can see that once their enrollment drops, people start losing their jobs. Well, folks, we are not far off in this country from when our college enrollment drops. People are going to start losing their jobs. People are going to start being removed from the university. And one of the ways to stabilize uh, any university is with enrollment. Enrollment is the one safe haven of employment, the one safe haven of financial stability for a university. So the thing that's critical is to find out where the students are. So if you're located in a city like Chicago, any high school or district that's within 10 minutes of colleges like the city of Chicago, the University of Chicago, Loyola, Northwestern, I believe you have to be able to look at that place and say, that's where I'm going to get my students from. And then, number two, you're going to have to decide what is the demographic of student you want. Are you looking for the high performers? Not, I mean, I believe it's very easy for us to all say we want high performing black males. Now, the thing is with most of those young people is that they're choosing where they want to go to college. Where I believe the untapped market is in the middle tier and the low performing. I believe that black males can obviously do much better in college than they do in high school based on the diversity of learning style, based on the learning structure of a college campus. Now, the disciplines have to be there to promote that success, but it can happen with a philosophy and a strategy to get it done. One of the things, so if you say I want to get that low performing market, I want to get that market that proves that they're not the best student or haven't performed at the highest level, but I can do what's called number three. I can create a bridge into my university, which will allow for easy transition to get a average to low performing student up to a higher level. I can use the summertime, I can use the fall, and I can create a sort of a bridge for students to come in, learn the system of college, get them acclimated and up to code. Because the reality is, if they don't have those skills, somebody's going to have to teach them. Now, this is a competitive advantage for a university or a college to be able to do this, because you have to be able to recognize that folks are coming from K 12 and they are ill equipped. If K 12 is failing black boys at the alarming rates that they are, you have to consider it and think about it. So when you look at the statistical data, which shows that some of the states that are the best performing states for black males are places like Maine, North Dakota, Vermont, Idaho, and Montana. That's not mainstream. Black America doesn't live in situations like that. You might have a place like New Jersey, which has given great emphasis and detail to making sure its black males graduate and succeed. So if you start looking at the lowest performing states and lowest performing cities, you're going to see places like Detroit, Cleveland, places in New York, Louisiana, places in Florida, mainstream places, Buffalo, that are failing black males. So when they come out of districts like that, you have to be able to say, we are going to be smart and not continue the failure. We can do something about it. Higher education institutions do have a responsibility. They can do something about it. They can be a contributor to correcting a problem. Now, when you see places that are more, savvy and more competitive economically, like a place like New York, which has the lowest performing state for black males. New York is the economic capital of the free world. See, there's a correlation between economics and the poverty of black people. If you see that a place like New York is the lowest performing state for black males, then you can see that black males are the poorest entity in this country. What does that mean? There is a disconnection between the education process and economics for black males. What bridges that gap? Education, but it's competitive education. It's a comprehensive education. It's not just reading, writing, and math. It's a more economic IQ, a more economic prowess, sending young people in areas that are going to promote economic dominance. So when you make these decisions, you've got to be able to see, how can I help these young people to succeed? Number three, or four, you have to go to these urban schools and recruit students. It's wise to make an appearance at every single high school. You target 100 high schools. It's wise to make an appearance at that high school to let those kids know you want them. And we have to go about this differently, because a lot of times in these situations we'll have counselors. If the K-12 process has become overwhelming, and so now the counselor may not have time anymore because they kick people out of school all day, they are bogged down with things that may not be as popular. I'm saying the urban market, the low achieving market, these schools that I have deemed as prison production factories, places that are putting out more kids that are going to get incarcerated in college. I am saying that those places are untapped gold. Those are where some of the brilliantest geniuses are that have never been introduced to the opportunity of college. And it is something that we can do. It is something that we can absolutely do to be competitive. One, there's a social benefit of helping this group of people, particularly to achieve that dream of college, but to maximize the dream of college. When you do that, you are making a contribution to the world economy. You are making a contribution to the life and family of a black male. And it is very critically important that you first really understand that going to college for a black male means something much more different than it means for other races in society. You know, you see a lot of times, you see in the legislative language of first generation college student. What that means, very simply, is that means that the prosperity has not went through the ranks of a family. First generation college student typically means poverty. That means you have not been exposed to the high performing opportunities in life. So it's critical, if you want to stop cycles of poverty, we got to be investing in that, because poverty drains the economy. When the economy gets drained, people lose jobs in education, at colleges. People do lose jobs, layoffs. It is incumbent upon us as higher educators to make, a all energetic effort to make sure that our students can be successful and they can go towards the goal of being economically viable. How do you do that? With college. So that urban student has to be tapped. You can't just do it when you feel like it. It has to be an investment in it to where you know that's gold. Because if you enroll 100 black male students and just put a little emphasis on the support and the bridge over the course of 4 years, those investments will pay out to millions of dollars to the institution. So you have to say, listen, it's worth it economically and it's worth it socially. Number 5, I believe it's wise to create a specialized unit. I've seen some colleges that really have uh, African American units. They have trained counselors that work with black students, and that to try to bring down the wall and bring down to eliminate the barriers of communication. A lot of times in my career, when I worked on campus, and we try to be in this holistic world communication, and it's all positive. But the reality is that people sometimes are comfortable with people from their own race and who speak their language. And so it's very important to know, if you can let down that wall by putting an emphasis on having a unit that's with specialized trained staff in this population that knows how to manage, knows how to communicate, is not afraid of them, does not have preconceived notions of them. folks want to say, I looked at one university and I looked in its admissions department, and everyone in the admissions department was white. But yet, still, they had an African American initiative to bring in new African American students. Something's wrong with that. They had an initiative to bring in black males into their college, but everybody on their staff was a white female. That's not consistent with what you say you want. The diversity allows for uh, you to you to bring down walls. You have to have a specialized way. This is a way to implement diversity. Diversity, I mean, one of the ways that I really learned diversity is working with people from the Arab American population. One of the things that was really key with working with the Arab American population is you have to have someone who speaks their language. You cannot attempt to work with an Arab American family. I noticed a lot of times when the Arab American population came to me for academic revising, they had one person who spoke the English and one person who didn't. And so what was that person there? That person was there to be the bridge. If they were speaking to someone from their country who spoke their language, it would be no need for the translation. It brings comfort to the folks. Remember, college is a business and it is about helping our clients. It is not about our agenda of theory or where you need to be able to do certain things. This is about guaranteeing folks can succeed. And when you do that, you get a better overall outcome and you will see that your client responds to you more. When I see high levels of college dropout, it says to me that we don't have a connection with our students. When someone drops out and they can't meet the academic requirements or the funds are not there during second semester, it is a clear case of being ill-advised because you can't start the college process then run out of money. You have to have the economic parts of it playing. You just can't say, okay, let's get them in here, let's take their financial aid, then they can't finish. It's irresponsible business practices. This thing has to be thought out, looked at, and seen how we're going to go about coming to completion. The most important process of the college process is the college planning process. And we at the higher education level know that that is not occurring. Our students are being failed. Our students are not getting proper preparation and proper knowledge and education. I went to one area high school and they were having a financial aid seminar. The financial aid seminar was less than an hour. Anyone that's involved in financial aid knows that you need a series of workshops to be able to understand the process of financial aid. I asked a room of young people, where are you going to college? They'll all say this fancy college, obviously to feel better or to make me be impressed with them. But then I say, who's paying for it? After we say that, they say, well, I'm going to get a grant. You can't get it. How long is a grant going to last? And the grant is half of what tuition is at that college. I'll take out loans. At 17 years old, taking out a loan is not a wise financial strategy. This discussion must be had with our students at all times. When we have that discussion, we can put a student in a better position to achieve and succeed versus set them up to fail with one college semester that they are academically ill prepared for, and then now they're at the end of it in December of their first year of college. Their financial aid is messed up. They don't have money to transition to the next year. The grades weren't so good, and what do we have? A college dropout. This is devastating to our college process, and this is why we see 6 out of 10 of college freshmen don't return the following year. This problem can be stopped by superior approach to our planning. One of the things that I really want us to take a good look at is how do we go about making sure that we can retain and keep our students in the program. One of the things that I really like to do in this is I believe there's 10 primary things that we can do. One of the things is, number one, is choosing the right career program. I believe that you begin the college process with the end in mind. I believe you need to know where you're going before you start. So many of our students come in with a very hazy view of what they want to do with their life. Until you know where you want to go, folks, it's foolishness to just get in the car and start driving. There are some general education courses you can take as you get to learn and do things, but I know it is very important for if a kid says they want to do a certain thing, you don't look in the books and decide whether you want to go to in a career or a career path. The best way to do it is to have 1 or 2 days on-site visualization of what that career actually is entails. Not I read up on it, not this is what I like. No, this is how it actually real time works. This gives you a much better outcome in terms of how you're going to do business. You can't get in these situations where you're sending kids to careers that have no life to them, that there's no connection for the kid. Black males are hands-on learners. So one of the things that has to be a part of this new transition is there's got to be some touch and feel. If you say you want to be a doctor, if you say you want to be a physician, it has got to be a way to get a kid in the hospital just to observe. You don't have to have people telling them about what the job consists of. Just got to be a way to have an observation. It's got to be a way to talk to a nurse about being a nurse. It's got to be a way to have a 5 minute conversation with a doctor. If a college can't partner that, it can't facilitate that relationship in the world of work, not from a professor, in the world of work, because most professors are college research professors. They're not, I did it. You got people that run the school of business that are business scholars and never owned a business. That is not the way to win the black male war on college. We have to be able to translate this information to our guys through real-time hands-on experience. K-12 experience is too slow, it takes too long, and it's too slow. There is no real-world hands-on experience, and our boys are responding. Black males are hands-on learners. Black males are young people that like to learn in a hands-on capacity. If they are not able to touch and be a part of the learning process, you're going to have a very, very serious problem, and you're not going to get the results you want. Number two, black males need a mentoring and support program. What does this mean? This is where there's an accountability system where you're part of this group, and we make sure that you graduate and you cross and you are on focus and you are doing what you need to do. The mentoring and support is guys that are maybe upperclassmen, people that are in professional jobs, people that are able just to check on you and make sure that you are on task and on focus. It is very important to see a guy who has completed and walked across the stage in that process of mentoring and support. That's very, very effective. I don't really like college students mentoring. College students, I think that's just like, when you have your children and you have an 11-year-old and they listen to their buddy who is 12. I just think I don't like that very much. I like having a separation of the mentorship to where it's someone in a professional career that may be on campus, that may be connected to where they can always get the support to know, listen, this happens all the time. You have guys that play in the NBA, mentoring guys that are still in college. That's easy. They tend to have the freshmen follow the seniors. Maybe that might work okay sometimes, but I've noticed for a lot of black males, it does not. So you have to have a more effective way, a more separated way of doing it. And this happens through mentoring of people that are in connected positions of where you want to go. Number three, aggressive internships. As we just said, hands-on experience with black males is critical. So you can't expect black males to succeed. When black males know that I can go be a part of it and go learn what's going on, it increases learning, it increases retention, it increases their attention to the process. You have to be able to create internship opportunities. I've always said being able to take a Wall Street tour, going on that Wall Street tour, watching billions of dollars change hands on the NASDAQ and watching the process, being able to go to a oil field, being able to spend time in an economic situation gives folks a higher degree of understanding and learning that will advance their career much faster than the regular K-12 college lecture format, study, do good. No, we are touch, feel, do, learn. And when we do that, we get better results. Number four, I believe it has to be weekly follow up with black males. That's the purpose of the mentoring program. Weekly follow ups. There has to be a staff person in that situation that weekly follow up until a person gets acclimated into that system. I believe the support system of a weekly follow up is really big. It's like a lot of the folks that I mentor, just being able to check in once a week is huge because it keeps people focused. It keeps black men focused, and it helps them to make sure that they're doing the right thing. And a lot of times, you have to understand the reason the black male is in this situation is because of the fallouts of the family. So a lot of folks are not coming in this situation with the best guidance and tutelage. So it allows the college level is basically filling in a lot of those holes, and that's our job. And so when that's our job, then we embrace it. That's why we have set it up the way we have. Number five, year-round classes. I believe in aggressive education. I believe in no breaks. I believe you get serious and you do 4 years. You get serious. You do you go full time. 12 credit hours is full time, 6 credit hours is full time in the summer, 36 credit hours a year. You graduate on time. Be aggressive, don't play around. I believe you can graduate in 3 years. I believe you can be focused and do what you need to do and to get the outcome you want to get. I believe earnestly that it is our role and task to make sure that we know that we gotta, when you go to college, it is a mental haul and it is a mental approach that you have to take, and you have to get focused on it. This days of I take a break here, or I'm gonna go light this summer, I just need a break, it's because you're not prepared for the mental workload. It's like when you go to the army, boot camp is a mental commitment. College has to be equally the same of commitment. It is a way not to burn out. This is why it's coaching through the process. It is a way to protect yourself, not burn out, and to know what it is you want to do, and you can have better success doing things like that. So you have to understand year round, no breaks. With black males, year round, no break. That allows for, we do not lose our momentum. We do not lose our confidence, and we're able to work through all the problems we have. We're able to work hard for 3 to 4 years, and now we're able to see what's out there. Staying busy, staying active, staying aggressive in your education is the formula, is the way for success. Number 6, social education. We have to be able to engage our guys into social education as where sex and health is concerned, when they know what's expected of them. And remember, the reason we have to do a lot of these things is because we didn't have fathers. And so, a lot of guys get to college campus, they abuse women, they do a lot of crazy things, and it hurts them in their life. It ends up hurting them and setting them back. Guys get girls pregnant, guys get sexually transmitted diseases, guys ruin their health, they eat like they're foolish, they do a lot of crazy stuff. And a lot of that time and things that we're doing in our life on campus, we don't get that time back, and we make mistakes that ruin our life forever. This is why social education has to be a big part of training and working with black males. Number 7, work and business education. You have to teach black males workplace skills, how to transition into the world of work. It has to be integrated. That's where it comes along with the internships and the hands-on learning. We have to be taught workplace skills, because it's nothing worse than being able to get an education but can't get a job, and not being able to keep it because you don't have the proper talent and skills to do so. Number 8, it's very critical to acknowledge family history. Family history, first generation folks, we have a lot of things going on. I can remember in advising, I spent a time working with a colleague of mine at a university program, and I got to interview some students for admission to the program. What I was able to see at that time was that the family damage and the history of things that are going on in your family has been very, very impactful, on the young person. So being able to know the person's family history and being able to highlight it to them, to let them know, listen, you don't have any excuses. This is what happened. We see what happened. We know what happened. It did hurt. What are we going to do about it? Is a powerful paradigm that allows people to be more successful than they ever thought was possible. You have to be able to attack your hurts of your history, your family, and not intertwine them in your college. A lot of folks come to college with a lot of hurt. I believe it's incumbent upon the college to skillfully be able to help people to process and deal with that prior 18 years of damage prior to coming to campus. Because what that allows is for clarity, that allows for improved conduct, that allows for a more focused approach to taking care of business. So many folks are hurt, they're wounded, they're doing anything, they're not thinking, and this is what is causing us an abundance of problems in this situation. So being able to address family history and provide some healing and closure for young people so they can heal from the wounds of molestation, abuse, neglect, poverty, you know, that allows them to be more healthy, more whole, more focused, and get a better result in their education. Number 9, job transition. I believe that young people that really need to be working as soon as they get into college. I believe work experience and learning experience must occur immediately, so that our young people just can job transition. I believe in working and having work experiences very early, transition into the world of work prior to graduation, really your freshman year. You can get your college under your belt your freshman year, but I honestly believe there must be a period of study and there must be a time of work. So in that first to second year, you have to get infused into the world of work to start learning through the hands-on process, and this is very true with black males, and I believe it will give us a much better outcome. Work skills and work development brings alive your education. If I could take a concept that I learned in the classroom and go apply it and see it in a place of work, it's like I really and truly speed up my progress. I speed up my ability to learn and to grow. Number 10, exposure to career and opportunities, being able to see things, being able to see how government and politics works. Being able to see that is really, really critical and really, really important. When you can see those type of things, I believe that when you get exposed to those experiences, Wall Street, oil and gas, being able to see the market, being able to go and travel different places and see how things work, being able to see how a principal runs a school, how teachers teach in real life class, I believe it gives you a competitive advantage and it allows you to be more effective. Number 11, learning style. When you learn how, I found through my research and practice that black males learn best in a group setting. Uh, when there's that group setting, there's an accountability. But black males are proven to do very, very well in a group setting. A lot of times we've seen that as negative because you see it how it happens in gangs, how it happens in other parts of negative energy. But let's take it for positive. Study groups working together is something where we can see high performance. Study groups allows for the dialogue going over points that we're learning. It allows us to talk our way through it and to go over different points of it. And we've been able to see that guys are getting much better results by being able to work in a group. There's a power in a group. When we can get in a group, it's proven that we can become more effective because the accountability of the group, but then the multiple views of information from the group allows learning to stick. It allows people to increase their self-esteem through the process and see things through different ways. This is what I believe will help our black males to improve their retention, because it will allow them to be more engaged. It will allow us to have a more hands-on approach with them. College typically is not a very hands-on thing. It typically tends to be very distant if you're not in an organization, frat, or sorority. What happens with black males is you have to, outside of that, you have to, as from the academic standpoint and the university standpoint, we have to actively engage with our students professionally touching them, feeling them on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, working with them at a higher, more consistent rate than we have in the past. In the past, it's been distance. You make it if you do it, and if you don't come see me, then I don't know you failing. So just go ahead and fail and work it out. That philosophy is fail philosophy. This new way of being aggressive and working with our students on a more consistent basis will yield a much better result.